I think what the Supreme Court, the decision that they made was the correct thing to make. It was an issue of First Amendment rights, and I think that was the correct decision that came out of the Supreme Court. Now, what do I think about our federal campaign regulations? I think they need to be thrown out, because McCain-Feingold, what it created was it took away the transparency that Senator Hurt was just talking about. This is how people like George Soros can funnel millions of dollars into Tom Perriello's campaign, and you don't know where it came from, because it's done through 527. So what we've done is we created a campaign law, and I think it's well pointed out that it was the Republicans who were as much at fault for doing this, which took transparency out of the election, of the campaign laws. And that's been a terrible thing, because with the 527s, there's all sorts of things that go on in federal. Like Senator Hurt, I've been in elections at both the state level and now at the federal level. So I understand the reporting requirements of both of them, and I would agree that Virginia's laws are very, very much transparent, and it is something that you can do. Nobody is prohibited from giving to anyone in the state of Virginia, but you have to clearly define where that money came from. In fact, even near your election date, if you get a contribution over $500, it has to be reported within 24 hours to the election board, so that you, the people, know who is contributing to these campaigns. This is what we should do with the federal campaign law. I'm going to give you a very short answer to this question, because the first thing I do is do away with the czars. Right? Do away with these things. And the next thing we ought to do is simply follow the Constitution. There was 3 branches of government set up for balance of control. We have not been doing that for a long time, and certainly this administration doesn't believe they have to follow that Constitution. So if that's what I would do, I would say we've got to go back to strict constitutionalism, follow what the Constitution says, and do away with things like the czars, and was mentioned earlier, the EPA making decisions for the Congress. I guess I can simply say yes. I think recently, Mr. Perriello was on a local radio station up in the Charlottesville area, and he was asked the question about whether he thought that the Constitution should be followed. And I can't remember exactly what his answer was, because as you know, it takes him about 5 minutes to reply to something, and you're not exactly sure what he said after he said that. But basically he said that as a congressman, he felt that it was his right to modify and interpret and change the Constitution. Now, is there anybody in this room that believes that that is Mr. Perriello's right, or any congressman's right to change the Constitution? No. All right, enough said. I'm going to do something you don't normally see a politician do. I'm going to try and answer the 8 questions that I missed in my minute and a half here. First was, should the EPA be delegated prior powers? Is that right or wrong? It's absolutely wrong. They should not be doing it. It's against the Constitution. What's the #1 threat to national security in the U.S.? Several good things were brought up in here, but I would add to it our out-of-control spending and our deficit is a threat to us. What do you love most about America? Anybody see Braveheart? Freedom, baby! That's what's great about this country. What changes would you do about the Department of Education? I would do away with it. We could save $69 billion. As a freshman, if there was a good bill, but you didn't like certain parts of it were against your principle, would you vote for that? My vote will never be for sale in Congress, and no, I would never vote for that. Iran's nuclear powers, what should we do about it? I think we have to verbally support Israel. We have to, and we have to increase our human intelligence. That's something that fell down in the Clinton years. I think this administration is doing the same thing. Which of the federal powers would you pick? If you had to pick one, we need a strong national defense. We need interstate commerce, and we need foreign trade. That's what the Constitution says. That's the only powers it gives to the federal government. That's what we should do. Thank you very much.